And my vitals are looking very good. This is like Rattlesnake Central. Make a lot of racket and actually... Oh, there's a spider. Oh, that was a spider. That's how quickly the death spiral can start. Good morning, afternoon, pre-evening, evening, or midnight, all you magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays Green Hell. Now, we have just left camp, and I will show you what camp looks like again in a moment. But we are on a little adventure. We are off to go get some recipes because, well, we need 2 recipes and we need some iron. So the first recipe we are going to go and grab will be in this general area. I do believe there is a camp of the Waraha tribe there, and I think the weapon rack can be found there. Now we also at some point do have to follow this road to see where it leads to this side. I mean, we have followed it to that side and we had found the drug cartel, but who knows what we'll find to this side. So we'll have to go and do that at some point as well. And my vitals are looking very good. It's just, as always, the carbs that are an issue, but that we can fix very easily by just, finding some bananas. Now, of course, bananas wouldn't look like this growing wild in the Amazonian rainforest. In fact, wild bananas wouldn't look like this at all. And the bananas that we cultivated, domesticated bananas from, of course, did not look like this at all either. They were very, very seedy. But if we were to look at the bananas we eat nowadays, the seeds are teeny tiny little useless things, which has no function for the banana at all. The banana, of course, wants monkeys or birds or humans to go and eat the fruit and then disperse the seeds somewhere. So there must be some seeds to actually disperse. But the bananas we eat nowadays have no seeds, so it's of no use. In essence, basically, we have domesticated the banana to such an extent that it cannot reproduce on its own. It does reproduce to some extent asexually by forming a whole bunch of little side shoots, and that, of course, can function like a new plant, but we have to manually go and remove those little side shoots from the parent plant before it actually can grow as an individual plant. Now, I do believe this is the spot this is the spot that we were at previously where we got the smoker recipe, but we are going to go just a little bit beyond this. I do believe there is a trail that goes along this side, and we should get a cave right up there. So maybe we'll get some recipes over there as well. Here we go, here is the cave. And, oh, there's a nice little lizard. Interesting. Okay, not sure whether that's the collared lizard.
A few moments later.
Never mind, was in fact the caiman lizard. So there we go, there is the caiman lizard. And the caiman lizard belongs to the Tehidae family, which includes things like the tegus, which are these big-ass lizards. But the Tehidae also contains a very weird group of animals, and I believe that it is the Aspidosceles genus. And what's weird about them is that there appear to be quite a few parthenogenic species of them. Parthenogenesis is a way for an animal to reproduce without mating, so it's asexual reproduction. And what seems to have happened is that with a lot of these whiptail lizards, they actually hybridized, and the weird thing then that happened is that those hybrids, normally hybrids are not fertile, so they cannot actually reproduce, as we have found a lovely bed that we can make. Oh, this is marvelous. But normally, as I've said, hybrids cannot reproduce, so they are infertile. But with these whiptails, it seems a lot of them can actually reproduce, but only through parthenogenesis. So what happens is the female basically creates babies in her body. And they are then able to, again, go and make more babies, each time in their body, each time asexually. So only through parthenogenesis. Now look, here we have found the iron vein, and this is actually great news. It means if we make a pickaxe, we should be able to come and harvest that. Now I do believe if we take our stick over here, and we take a rope, and we take our stone blade, there we go, stone pickaxe. Anyway, as I was saying, parthenogenesis is really a fascinating process, most often observed in invertebrates. Aphids, for example, are very good examples of parthenogenic creatures because they can reproduce sexually with a male and a female, but they can also reproduce asexually with parthenogenesis, where a female basically can have babies in her body, developing in her body, as we're just going to come and whack the iron vein over here. There we go, we have collected 2 iron ore from that iron vein. But the problem with parthenogenesis like that is that the offspring are genetically identical to the mother, which does not result in a lot of genetic variation. That's where sexual reproduction comes in. That is a way to actually have increased genetics within the population. So just having parthenogenic reproduction is actually quite rare. Aphids will have sexual reproduction as well. Komodo dragons, which are capable of parthenogenesis, will also have, mostly actually, sexual reproduction. But there have been some cases of only asexual reproduction through parthenogenesis also being observed, most notably with the whiptail lizards in that Aspidosceles genus, and then also in the flowerpot snake. It's a little tiny wee, teeny weeny little snake, and we have only found females of that species, and that whole species most likely only reproduces asexually through parthenogenesis. So it's quite fascinating. Of course, another creature we can see here is the toad over here, and this of course is the cane toad. Very noisy little guys, and they do occur here naturally here in South America where we are. However, they are a major problem in Australia, where they had been introduced to actually control cane beetles, which were causing chaos in the sugarcane fields. And then what happened is the cane toads decided, well, stuff it, we don't want to eat these boring ass beetles, we will eat everything else. And they have basically eaten a lot of things, some of them to extinction and some of them almost to extinction. But the cane toad has had a far more significant impact on the predators occurring in Australia, with many predator species not knowing to avoid the cane toads. And that's because there are no indigenous toad species in Australia, which is, for me as a South African, so weird to consider, because in South Africa we've got so many different toad species, but in Australia there were naturally none. And as a result, the animals in Australia, the predators, did not know to avoid the cane toads. They go, ooh, that's a frog, I can eat that, that's marvelous. And then, of course, they get poisoned, because the cane toads will have poisonous parotid glands behind their eyes. But then additionally, they also secrete their bufotoxin, or the toxin that they produce. They secrete that all along their back as well. So the stomach, or the belly of the cane toad, is fine to actually, consume, but the back is where all the toxins are located. And as a result, ooh, hello, we found the tribe. Are they here? No, they do not appear to be here. Oh, that's great. Okay, that's marvelous. Ooh, a tribal fire starter. That's great, because I think the tribal fire starter here is actually lighter in weight than our fire bow that we had. Yeah, it's about 1.8, the tribal fire starter in weight, and 2.1, the fire bow. So you know what? The fire bow is also, in any case, almost done. So we're going to just replace that. You guys will come home. You will not have your tribal fire starter, but you will have a new little fire bow for you to use. And of course, our weapon rack. This is actually why we came here in the first place. Okay, now if we look on the map, this is where we are. Now, there should be some caves along that ridgeline over there. So I think let's actually head to the north. I will chat a little bit more about the cane toads as well on the way there. And let's actually see if we can perhaps get some more iron to use. But anyway, so there have been many different attempts to actually get predators to stop eating the cane toads because they are so dangerous. And those attempts have included a very interesting one, where they actually made sausages out of cane toad meat and put some noxious compounds in it, so that predators actually eat the sausages. They get the taste of the cane toad, but they also have this horrible compound that makes them feel bad. Doesn't kill them, but makes them feel ill. And they then learn to avoid, hopefully, that horrible cane toad. So they associate the scent and the taste of the cane toad with poison, and then they hopefully leave that alone. Okay, so we have found apparently a cave. Oh, here it is, right over here. Haha. Oh, I remember this cave. Nick and I had, at one point, we had a base right outside here. That was a nice base. I enjoyed that base. Anyway, let's see what we get inside here. Ooh, Brazilian wandering spider. Don't want to get bitten by one of those. Ah, we found iron vein. Marvelous. Now, our energy is also low, and we did pick some blue mushrooms right at the start, so we're just going to eat those. That's going to give us quite a nice bunch of energy. Okay, there are quite a lot of iron veins here, but there's no iron ore in here, so we are going to go perhaps a little bit more along the edge here, along the cliff face, to see if we can perhaps get another cave. think let's head a little bit more to the east. Yeah, let's head up here and then head a little bit more to the east. But interestingly enough, some Australian predators have also decided, you know what, we're going to learn how to eat these stupid toads. So they've actually developed a whole bunch of ways to eat the toads by flipping them over onto their back and then eating the belly, which isn't poisonous. Or by, in some cases, perhaps just being more resilient to the toxins. The freshwater crocodile does seem to be very susceptible, and there is a rattlesnake right underneath the stump I want to climb up on. Larger bodied animals do appear to be slightly more resilient to the toxins, or more resistant to the toxins. There's another rattlesnake, my word. But the monitor lizards in particular in Australia are very, very susceptible to them, because a lot of the species are found in aquatic environments. And so that's, of course, where there are a lot of frogs. There is a rattlesnake. Oh, my word, I did not see it. Look at that amazing camouflage. That thing. Oh, my word. But I think I hear something else. Yeah, I hear something else. There's a puma somewhere. I don't know where. There is a puma. There we go. There's a puma. Kitty, I do not want to kill you, but you want to kill me. And that we cannot have. Oh my word, the forest is dangerous. Oh, okay, so there's a rattlesnake. There was a rattlesnake. And there was a puma as well. Why did you have to go for me? Why did you not go for the capybaras? There are two capybaras walking right over there. Why did you want to go for me, huh? Why? A beautiful kitty, not as it is at the moment, but a beautiful cat, the puma. But the puma is, with a probable exception of the leopard, the most widely distributed cat in all the world. Having occurred, and perhaps the wild cat may actually be slightly more widely distributed, but the puma occurred basically the entire North America, apart from the frozen north, and the entire South America. Although they have been lost from about half of the US, they are still found in most of South America, and they generally are very, very widely distributed. We're just trying to find something that we can get rid of. Now, we're not going to be able to cook the meat, though, so we are going to toss that. Okay, anyway, so I was looking for the cave still. The cave should be around here somewhere. And I completely forgot what I was talking about. Pumas will do that, eh? Pumas will do that. And we should be quite close. I think there is another cave around here somewhere. Now, we won't be able to carry any of the iron ore that we collect, but we will be able to at least mark the cave on the map so that I can come back later on and get some more iron ore. Because today we are going to start smelting. But as I was saying, the cane toads, some indigenous species in Australia have learned to how to actually eat the deadly cane toads without being poisoned. The whistling kites, I believe, they have learned to actually eat the... Oh, there's another rattlesnake here somewhere. Where is it? There. Hello there. Okay, listen, I'm going to come back this way. And I don't want to step on you. But the whistling kites, I believe they eat from the belly side, which is, where they are not exposed to toxins. But the most amazing one, for me at least, are the rakali, or the water rats, the Australian water rats. One of the very, very few indigenous mammals in Australia that are not marsupials, the indigenous placental mammals in Australia. Most mammal species in Australia are, of course, marsupials, and the majority, by far the majority, of the placental mammals that we have in Australia have been introduced from other parts of the world. Things like camels, red foxes, rabbits, those types of things. But the rakali is a rodent that's indigenous to Australia, which I find fascinating. And what they have learned to do is to actually make, let me just see, we need to head, I think, a little bit more to the south. Yeah, we are going to inherently head to the south because, look there's a big area down there. I don't think we can get to it in survival mode, but I do believe I know where we are, at least. If we go a little bit more to the south, we should find another cave. And, I think, another trap that we can also use. But the rakali, the water rats, what they have learned to do is actually make a small incision on the side of the cane toad's body, and then they just eat the heart and the liver. The organs, unlike things like the pufferfish, the organs of the cane toad are not toxic. It's the skin and the parotid gland behind the eye that are toxic. And so by making a little incision and then just eating that... Yeah, hello. and then just eating the organs, the heart and the liver. They kill the toad in the process, and they get some very nice little bunch of food. And there's another rattlesnake right over here. This is like Rattlesnake Central. Wow. You know what? Let's follow the road. Let's see where it goes, eh? But the Rakali doing that with the cane toads actually reminds me very much of what happens here in South Africa with the orcas, the killer whales that have learned to hunt great white sharks. And they basically flip the great white sharks on their back and then make a small incision on their side and then suck out the liver. Very, very precise. How they have learned to actually do that, who knows? But they have learned that the liver is extremely nutritious, and so they obviously want to eat that. And they've learned that, okay, if you flip the shark on its back, it's not dangerous. You can actually, it kind of goes into a form of thanatosis, or playing dead, if you flip it on its back. And then you can make a small incision with your teeth and actually eat the liver, suck out the liver. Which is ingenious, but unfortunately it is potentially having quite a big impact on the population of great white sharks here in South Africa. But nature is amazing. I love the fact that a lot of animals, predators for example, will find all kinds of ways to actually outsmart their prey. To some extent that is a case of... Ooh, there's a trap. So we found the one trap here, the snare trap. Marvelous. But the predators and the prey trying to outsmart one another is an example of the evolutionary arms race, with the predators in this case finding all kinds of ways to catch their prey and to actually kill the prey, and the prey having developed a toxin like that bufo toxin by the cane toads. They have developed that. Oh, hello scorpion. Sheesh, almost stood on you. Listen here. No. I was trying to see if there's a scorpion to this side, but there was a scorpion almost right underneath me. There's an iron vein here. Oh, we're going to have to mine that. But the cane toads, of course, having developed that toxin, and then the predators coming up with a method to actually kill that toad and eat it without being poisoned. Now, we can't use the elevator in the story mode. You do, of course, go down to that area, but in the survival mode that we are in, we cannot actually gain access to that lower section of the map. But we could technically end up in the Spirits of Amazonia area, which we do not have access to in the story mode. Let's just make ourselves heavier again. And there we go, light enough once more to carry on our journey. Okay, so we are here now. Our base is right over there. So if we head to the west-southwest, we should be able to find our way home. West-southwest is that way. Alright, I'll see you back at base, unless something interesting happens on the way. Ah, well, look at that. I have insomnia because I haven't slept in a very, very long time. Yeah, we're going to have to go take a nap soon. I have also basically been following this road that I think is the one that we wanted to actually travel on. So, yeah, we may not need to travel on it anymore because, well, I think I have. Yeah, I think we're very, very close to base. And that means we should be heading into the territory of the Jaguar once more. So we're just going to follow this road. I think that will lead us to where our base is. But there may be a Jaguar up ahead. So let's have a look. And there we go. Our base is coming up. Alright, so maybe the Jaguar hasn't appeared yet. But look, here we have a base. Our base has actually grown quite considerably. So this is what I've been up to off screen. As you can see, of course, our banana plants are growing nicely, as is our custard apple bush there. Of course, one often says banana trees, but they're actually not trees. Trees would have woody stems, whereas the bananas actually have a very, very fibrous stem. They are a herbaceous plant rather than a woody plant. Now we're just going to quickly take a nap here, just to get rid of our insomnia. Alright, our insomnia is gone. Just drinking some water, there we go. Everything is good once more. Yeah, it's just meat and that's about it. And look at that, we had a nice meat soup over there. And I think our vitals are basically 100% now. Oh, that is marvelous. Okay. Now, let's get to work, shall we? We're going to just put a few things away here. The iron ore, for example, because that is heavy. Well, we have 6 iron ore. Oh, that's marvelous. Now, what we do need to do now is actually build a forge. That is going to be our first priority now. That and a charcoal burner. So I think the charcoal burner we can just make somewhere under here somewhere. But I don't think the forge actually fits under the roof. Yeah, the mud forge is too big to actually fit under the roof. But we can put it right over here. And the charcoal furnace right over here. Perfect. let's start with the charcoal burner, shall we? So the idea is we want to burn the wood, any like sticks and planks and stuff like that. We want to burn wood, but in such a way that it doesn't actually burn completely to ash. I believe we want to actually starve it of oxygen, so it doesn't burn completely. It turns into charcoal, not into ash. There we go. So there's the furnace completed. Now what we need to do is put a whole bunch of sticks in here. We've got nothing. Nothing. So let's go get a bunch. We have got a bunch of long sticks over here, and sure, I could harvest those, but I'm keeping this for things like the furnace that we're going to make there. So for now, we're just going to go and chop down some more trees up here. I did just realize that I don't have an axe. So we're just going to loosely pick up a whole bunch of sticks here, scavenge around where I had harvested previously. So now what we'll do is we'll just add all these sticks and these small sticks. Oh, you can add planks. Okay, we can add planks as well. Okay, we're almost there. What we also needed to build is the weapon rack. I think we'll put that over here. You see, this is what we also needed the long sticks for. And by tying it all together, we've made a weapon rack. And on this, we can actually put things like our pickaxe. We can put things like our fishing rod, which we don't need. There we go. So anything we don't need at any given point in time, we can actually put here, so that we take our equipment, our tools, as we need it. Now let's just go get a bunch more sticks. And this one should be the last one. There we go. Now we just need one more mud brick in order to actually close it up. And now that it is enclosed, it should burn, but not so well that it actually results in all the wood turning to ash. So we should be able to get some charcoal with this. And we're going to just use our new tribal fire starter here. Use some dry leaves. And I do think that uses less energy than the bow, the fire bow. But there we go. We have started our charcoal burner. And it is now going to slowly but surely burn away. You can see a lot of smoke. It's not burning very cleanly, and that's kind of the idea. We don't want it burning cleanly, because if it burns cleanly, well, then it is going to turn into ash. Now, we are still currently in the wet season. We are in day 17, and I do think the dry season will start at about day 20. So we're going to have to get a water collector up and running as well. We don't really have to worry too much. Technically, we could just use all the water around here. We could just, put it on the fire and boil it, get it clean that way. But I think a water collector will be a better way to go, because we can put a nice big pot underneath, and then over the course of a day, we can get a whole pot full of clean water. Alright, and there is our forge. That is now also completed. The idea then is that we would fill this whole thing with charcoal, and we would put down something we want to smelt, and then in the process it would smelt and we would collect at the bottom here. I think you'd actually put the metal thing you want to smelt higher up, because, hot air rises and stuff. This does function to some extent like a whole... it is actually open at the top there. It does, to some extent at least, function like an oven, but I think you would actually take, at the top here, you'd put like a can you want to smelt, you'd put that at the top there, or iron ore, you'd put it at the top, and then have this whole thing full of charcoal, let it burn at a very, very high heat, and then in the process it would smelt the metal, and you would be able to get a nice little piece of ingot that you can then hopefully work with to make some kind of other thing. Okay, but this is going to put us into the Iron Age officially, because we're going to be smelting some iron, and I am very, very excited about that. Now, we haven't discovered any caves around here though, and I don't think there are many. I think there may be one around there, somewhere to the north, and there may be one right over there as well. Maybe we should, while we're burning the charcoal, maybe we should quickly have a look, to the north. This is actually where we have been traveling the whole time. How have we not discovered that cave? We need to find out where all the sources of iron in the area are, so that we can easily get enough iron ore. You know what, we need a pickaxe. If there is going to be iron ore, we need to mine it. There we go. And then let's head to the north, shall we? Just keeping an eye out, because of course the jaguar would sneak up on you from behind. You never want to turn your back on a carnivore. If you see it, you also shouldn't run away, because the moment you run, you trigger the predator response, and they see you as food, and then they will chase you. The best is, of course, to keep an eye on the predator and slowly but surely retreat backwards. Now, in the game here, the jaguar would just keep on coming towards you. In real life, I would hopefully have enough courage to actually then make a lot of racket and actually... Oh, there's a spider. Oh, that was a spider. There's a spider. Look at it. Raising up on its hind legs to intimidate me. Oh, man. Okay. So that thing got me. I do believe I've got a wound dressing here. I should be able to just... Oh, there's the bite mark. Yep, there we go. Tobacco dressing on that, shall we? Now, the problem is that we are now going to become exhausted. You have a fever. We're going to need to sleep that off. So, I guess we're going back to camp. Because we are going to become so exhausted so quickly. And it's not going to be fun for anyone. Here I was talking about how I would charge at a jaguar. And then I get bitten by a wandering spider. There's another one. Around here. I did hear another one. I don't see it. Okay, anyway, let's just avoid that area, shall we? Luckily, the spiders in the game here make a very distinct sound, and you can easily pick them up if you pay attention, Will, if you pay attention. We can drink the bone broth there. That is going to be very good to get rid of the fever, but I think we're fine. We're just going to sleep off the fever, shall we? Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I see we also have a leech. We've got a lot of stuff happening. But our fever is gone, thankfully. Now, the main problem is that we are low health. You see there, almost no water, almost no carbs. A jaguar appearing right over there. There is a jaguar coming towards us. There it is. There he was. Oh, that's a bullseye. Okay, at least it's a constant source of food. Not very fat-rich food, though, as I've mentioned. But it's food nonetheless. Food is food. At least it seems like our bite wound has actually healed nicely. That's good. There's the leech. Okay. And that's how quickly the death spiral can start. Where everything is going well and then suddenly nothing is going right. And you can start dying very, very quickly. But our water is... Oh, not even fixed. My word. We are thirsty. Now let's eat our friend the jaguar. So let's quickly drink that, and then as soon as that water has boiled, we'll drop in this mushroom so we get some carbs as well. Come on, come on, come on, and there we go. Our water is full, so we should get 2 sips out of this. There we go, 2 sips, that is marvelous. Okay, now I think we are ready to go on our adventure to the north. Yeah, we're more or less alright. I'm wondering whether this cave that is apparently in this area is somewhere... Oh, it's behind the waterfall, of course. Why did I not check behind the waterfall? Oh, that's a trippy effect there. Alright, let's see. There are 3 potential iron ore spawn points here, but no iron ore. This is probably the easiest place, or the best place to come and look for it. And now we're just going to have a look upstream along the river here to see if we find any other cave system. Quite probably in an area where the water is bubbling out of the rocks, where the rock is like limestone, for example, has been eroded away by the water over time. Oh, beautiful monarch butterfly. Well, possibly a monarch, although it looks kind of like a diadem. No, actually, it does look like a monarch butterfly, the African monarch to be precise. So, not a species you will find in South America, though. But as I was saying, the limestone most likely... Oh, there's a stingray. You see, I do not want to actually walk in the water because there are stingrays in here. They could give you a nasty sting. Venomous barb on their tail. Of course, they inject the venom into your bloodstream and then, you could die. But as I was saying, with the limestone, it's alkaline. I do believe I mentioned it previously. Limestone being alkaline, if there's acidic water like rainwater, or in this case, most likely this river here is also quite acidic, it would most likely erode the rock, resulting in a cave. This cave, however, oh, it's got obsidian. Oh, and it has an actual iron vein. So, let's harvest this, shall we? There we go. And I do believe this is now, yeah, there we go. It is marked on our map, so we know where our 2 caves are. Now, I'm not sure how that freshwater ray got above the waterfall, because I don't think they would be able to actually swim, up a waterfall. But sometimes it is best not to ask questions. Rapids, yeah, sure, they may be able to flop around over this, But the big waterfall we had earlier, I don't think they would be able to traverse that. Some fish, like the eels for example, they would be able to wriggle up along the rocks. As long as the rocks are wet, they are able to wriggle up it. But I don't think rays would be able to get up the waterfall. Anyway, I think that was a very, very successful expedition. We found our 2 caves, we almost died, we killed a jaguar, and now we are heading back to base. Let's see, our charcoal burner appears to be done. Yes. Alright, so, opening it up, we can take all of the charcoal out, we get some ash as well. Obviously some of the wood has burned to ash, and that's great because now we can use that to make more mud. And as you can see, we are heavy, but all the charcoal we have here, a lot of it is going in. There we go. You can't put normal wood in here, you've got to put charcoal in. And then I do believe we first... Can we put... Yeah, we can put iron ore right over there. And then... There we go. Okay, we're going to head into the Iron Age now. We're starting a fire, igniting our charcoal, and that is going to, over time at least there, give us 1 iron ingot. Now we can, of course, just in the meantime carry on getting this charcoal burner ready once more, and then whenever we want we can ignite that as well. Okay, but I think that may actually be a good spot to end for now. We did get to talk about the cane toad, which was nice. Well, the cane toad isn't nice, but it's nice to chat about them. And we will, of course, talk a bit more about them at some point as well, which will be... I'm looking forward to that. And of course, we'll have a lot of stuff also still left to talk about. Unfortunately, this was, of course, the only video this week. Hopefully, now that I've done all my marking and stuff, I will be able to bring out 2 videos once more. So next week, hopefully... Tuesday will be Green Hell, and Friday I'll finally have another Pal World episode coming out. And of course there will be some streaming this Sunday as well. Nick will not be joining us this Sunday, but I will be streaming nonetheless, and I will let you know what I am streaming down right there. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and then of course subscribe if you haven't yet. It really helps the channel to grow. And until next time everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Bye.